Tigers not.
Finally, Clemson Sports Talk has come back to Drive Time. Hello, everybody. Lawton Swan back in the saddle. Once again, it is the show that shakes the Southland. Clemson Sports Talk for you each and every afternoon as you make your way around the great state of South Carolina and beyond, listening to us on incredible radio stations like Fox Sports Radio 1400 in the Midlands, around the world on the iHeartRadio application. Like, share, subscribe, tell your friends and neighbors and your friends' neighbors about the show, especially those friends, neighbors who wear the orange and purple of Clemson Tiger Nation. Appreciate everybody being a part of the program every day. And again, headed towards 1,000 subscribers. We can't do it without you. Go over to our YouTube channel, ring that bell, push that subscribe button, step on up and be a part of what we do. Thank you to my buddy Rob Sanders for the fantastic lead in. Of course, you can follow Rob on Twitter at Rob Sounds Good. Each and every day, the rundown 3 until 4 o'clock. All right, so it is the Ride or Die edition, hour number 1, hour 2. Looking forward to this opportunity to talk with Jonathan Blau. He is the new beat reporter for the Post and Courier out of Charleston. He'll be on the show to talk about the Clemson Tigers. He's covering that Clemson beat, and we'll get his thoughts on what's been going on. Again, a strange year and a strange dynamic so far. Dabo Swinney was asked about the competitive nature of college football in 2021. We'll hear those comments coming up in just a little bit as well. But being the Ride or Die edition, we're going to hear some of what Matt Bockhorst had to say earlier this week also. Now, Bocky, as we affectionately call him, Bocky was pretty fired up, pretty juiced to the max. Essentially, and we talked about this yesterday, but without reading his quote verbatim, essentially said, look, man, I'll go to battle with this guy. I'll ride or die with number 5. Talking about Big Cinco, DJ Uiagalelei, whose stats so far have been less DJ Ooh-wee and more DJ Ooh-wee Uiagalelei, right? I mean, at this point, has not been great. And so, a lot of times here on the program, we talk about relativity and how temperature is relative and how you're feeling about this team is relative. And I brought up the 2016 team, a team that fought through a lot of adversity early on in the year and went on to win a national title. Now, look, none of that guarantees you anything in 2021. Not an ounce of what happened in 2016 will do diddly for you in 2021. And while DJ Uiagalelei this year ranks 11th in the ACC in passing currently, again, behind Braxton Burmeister at Virginia Tech, Jordan Yates at Georgia Tech, Sam Hartman at Wake Forest, Malik Cunningham at Louisville, Derek King at Miami, Devin Leary at NC State, Gunnar Holmberg at Duke, Sam Howell at North Carolina, Kenny Pickett at Pitt, and Brennan Armstrong at Virginia, who currently leads the league. DJ Uiagalelei is 11th and would be undoubtedly behind Phil Jerkovic if Jerkovic had played 3 games. He's only played 2. And so from the standpoint of expectations, preseason, conversations about being the next big arm, taking over from Big Trev, the giant killer, like, for a lot of people, the belief was that DJ was going to come in and just instantly click and things weren't going to drop off at all. And I don't blame you for feeling that way. Heck, I might even be part of the problem on that front. Because in all honesty, the only thing we have to really go off of is evidence. I mean, this is an evidence-based numbers show. And I don't like to get into the minutia of the numbers all the time. Like, you're not going to hear me coming in and going, man, can you believe that Will Shipley's rushed for 275 yards already? I mean, like, I couldn't even give you a ballpark figure at this point on what Will Shipley's rushed for. Like, I'm not a numbers guy. I go off of feeling and emotion of what I see. And what I saw from DJ a year ago against Boston College, and then really what I saw from him against Notre Dame, yielded me no reason to think that DJ's not going to be uber successful as a quarterback at Clemson. Were there some mechanical things that you might could go back and find? What, would Travis Etienne have had a fumble if it was Trevor Lawrence pitching that ball out to him at South Bend, Indiana? I don't know. Maybe not. I mean, there were probably some little things that happened in that ball game that Trevor would not have had happen under his watch because he's much more comfortable in the system. Trevor at that point was in his third year at Clemson. Trevor was the face of college football. And so this is a role that DJ has had to step into. And I would make the argument that Trevor Lawrence, his first year at Clemson University, when he assumed the role of the starter the week before the Syracuse game, got hurt, Chase Bryce saves the day, like all of that, right? All of that. He was certainly not the face of college football. Even after that, he was not the face of college football. And as he made a miraculous run and led Clemson into the national championship game against Alabama, the all-world best ever Alabama team that everybody expected to just go 15-0 and become known as the greatest to ever do it, before Trevor Lawrence hot knifed that team to the tune of 44-16 and hoisted the golden scepter for Dabo Swinney. Maybe in that moment, after that game, he became the face and became a front runner for the Heisman Trophy. Like all of that, yes, was he building towards it? I mean, like a great story arc, possibly. But that was still just building for him. Flip the script to DJ. 803-450-0086. You can call that number right now and say, Swanee, you don't know what you're talking about. Swanee, you have no idea what you're talking about at all. And I'll hear from you on that front. I know. You're probably sitting there right now trying to think of something good to come at me.
I'm trying to think, but nothing happens.
But with that being said, DJ, by virtue of his performances a year ago, was like preordained to be this next big thing in college football. Think about the difference. And again, you could say to me, yeah, but Swanee, Trevor Lawrence's year 2, he led Clemson to the national championship game for a second time. People thought Clemson might go back-to-back and win 30 games in a row. And yes, I will agree. But where Trevor started his sophomore year versus where DJ began his, it's night and day. Night and day. DJ on the season, 51 of 86, 59.3% completion percentage for 475 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 picks. Not out of the gates swimmingly. But the perception of what DJ was going to be relative to what you've gotten might be his biggest issue. Now, could you argue? Could you stand in the arena and go one-on-one with a great one and say, Swanee, mechanics are bad, footwork is bad, he's making poor decisions? Like, can you get into the minutia of all that with me? Yes, I can't really argue against it. But I can argue that if DJ didn't have the expectations that we placed upon him, if DJ were just another Johnny-come-lately at quarterback as a sophomore, taking over any old program, we might have a little more wiggle room available and readily available to him. Might grant him a little extra opportunities, to make mistakes before we are overly critical. And again, there is this other factor, too, that I think we forget. And as rough as it's been, and I brought this up the other day, maybe some of what he sees at practice has affected him, because I can't imagine having to be the guy that goes up against that Clemson defense on a regular basis. But I still have not gotten any reason or indication to believe that the Georgia Bulldogs aren't going to be one of the best teams in college football. Offensively, I don't know. Defensively, feels like it's close to being a certainty at this point. 803-450-0086. But I will present the conversation, if you will, that maybe DJ right now feels a lot worse than he actually is because of where we placed him out of the gates.
Well, sir, while I may not agree with what you say, I'll defend to the death your right to say it.
And I appreciate that. 803-450-0086, the Honey King of the Upstate. My man Kyle, Honey King Hooten, in the house today. Good to see you, Kyle, man. Thanks for hanging out with us. Corey says, let's go. Beat State. Told a funny story earlier in the week or late last week about, I believe it was in the Road Trips edition, about going up to NC State for a game. It ended up being in 1999. I had initially thought it was 97, but it was 99. Kyle wants to know what year DJ is. He's a sophomore. Technically, he could be a freshman. They got him listed as a sophomore, but with the COVID-19 stuff, he could technically get a year back, which means if DJ chose, and who knows, folks, maybe this is the bright spot about what's happening right now in 2021. Because most of us, myself included, would have assumed that you'd get this year out of DJ and next year, and then you got to have his replacement. Now, I mean, if DJ keeps this up, I don't see any way he's gone after 3 years. Or after his third year, I would think that you would get a fourth year out of DJ. Again, this being year 2 currently. And technically, you could get an additional 5th year out of him based on the rules. But there is no question that this team currently lacks explosive plays. Maybe the most baffling and the most frustrating and the most embarrassing thing, and I can't imagine being a guy that's paid $8 million plus per year, or a guy that's being paid Tony Elliott's salary, $1.5 million, $2 million, whatever Tony's up to now. I can't imagine making that much money and having to walk into the arena and say, yeah, I got outcoached. I got outcoached for 60 minutes, and I didn't have an answer. We couldn't answer the bell. We won the game. We never had an answer. Clemson didn't beat Georgia Tech in Death Valley. They survived Georgia Tech in Death Valley. They didn't beat them. They survived them because Georgia Tech outcoached them. And Clemson was ill-prepared. And there hadn't been one reason given for me from a coach when I've asked about, well, what goes into it? Or how difficult is it to change those things on the fly? Not one thing they could say to me or any other member of the media changes my opinion about how bad it actually was. Well, we got a bunch of young guys and you're trying to, get those guys prepared for one thing and then they get another look. Guess what? Marcus Tate on the offensive line, guess what? He's played football a long time. You don't just walk in and all of a sudden you're a starter at Clemson University. Not to mention you had about a 2-hour break in the middle. Now, you might say, yeah, but that's not a lot of time. Well, listening to Dabo Swinney, yesterday they only get, I think he said 17 hours of time to prep anyway. So to me, if 17 hours is what you have a chance to get prepared for, and then you get the fortune of having a long break because of lightning in the area, and you get 2 hours, the way I see it, you're getting about an eighth of the amount of time. How's that math, huh? How about your boy, huh? The Einsteiner, of course, in the house today. I can do that math. 00 sitting at home going, doggone it, Swanee got one that time. 00, you'll never know. I might have done the math before the show just to get under your skin a little bit. But, I mean, you still had a good amount of time to get ready, and that's after you got some line of fire. Like, hey, man, here's the looks. Here's how we're going to deal with it. Not once. Not once. 803-450-0086. 803-450-0086. Again, Jonathan Blau. Blau. From the Charleston Post and Courier joins us in hour number 2. Roddy Jones will try to be on with us tomorrow. He's doing the daddy duty deal. Hashtag been there. Hashtag done that. I think most of us have at this point. Matter of fact, man, I was thinking yesterday, talking with some friends about their kids and all, and they got some young kids, and the nap time and kids playing in the sprinkler and things like that. And I'm like, I'm talking about literally napping on their mom's chest, like laying down and taking a nap in the sun. And I said, man, I miss those days. And they said to me, it's funny. Everybody says they miss those days. They're like, except for us, we're kind of ready for them to be gone by now. But believe me, if you're a new parent out there, soak it in, man. It goes way too fast. Wait. 803-450-0086. Text line, phone line. Again, we're live on Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. If you're on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. If you are on YouTube, go hit that subscribe button. Would love to get you subscribed to us. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers before Game 6. I didn't think we'd make it. I feel like we got a chance now. See you Tigers win. Listening to the show in Germany today. It says, go Tigers. See you Tigers win. What part of Germany are you in? Are you at a base? Are you in an army base? Are you just living over there? I mean, if you're living over there, then I guess Guten Tag. How'd I do? Did I nail that? Did I do that right? I don't speak too many languages. One, really. I speak a little bit of a lot. You know what I'm saying? A little bit of a lot. See you Tigers win over in Germany. Says DJ just needs to slow his heart rate down. Let the game come to him. He'll be okay. This is a good point that you bring up. And I kind of said this earlier this week, and I'll get your thoughts on it. Do you agree with this statement? I mean, DJ running the ball early in the games is probably positive because it kind of gets your adrenaline going, kind of gets you in the mood, so to speak, for the game. Takes a little of the nervousness off. Like I've heard a lot of players talk about, you get hit, and I brought this up maybe Monday. You get hit, and then boom, you're feeling good. You're feeling like you're a part of it. I mean, maybe that's the thing. Give him a carry early. I'm not saying get your bell rung, but get hit a little bit. Kind of wake him up. 803-450-0086. Text line, phone line. All right, so listen. Matt Bockhorst. Man, it was great to interview him at the ACC kickoff. By the way, if you didn't watch our video of our YouTube video of the no-brainer NIL deals, go check out the one about the Matt Bockhorst bratwurst. Fantastic stuff on that front. We give you a whole list of them. That's on the YouTube channel where you are going to be a subscriber, right? Right? Thank you. We'll get to Matt Bockhorst comments. Plus, I got some texts coming in. HD and Charlotte text in the program. Plus, your thoughts as well when we get back here on the show that shakes the Southland. You are locked in to Clemson Sports Talk. Stay with us.
Now, Columbia's most dependable traffic, sponsored by Pope Davis Tire and Automotive, home of the best tire prices in Columbia, guaranteed.
Fox Sports Radio 1400 traffic. Couple of tie-ups to tell you about this afternoon. Percival at Spears Creek Church, also Polo Road at Wildwood Downs Parkway. The 103.5 FM WVOC traffic tip line is open at 343-1055.
This report is sponsored by Discover. Discover matches all the cash back you earn on your credit card at the end of your first year. It's amazing because Discover is accepted at 99% of places in the U.S. that take credit cards. Learn more at discover.com/yes. 2021 Nielsen Report limitations apply.
iHeartRadio brings you Global Citizen Live, a moment heard around the world. This Saturday, the biggest artists on the planet unite with world leaders to demand action on our biggest challenges, featuring BTS, Usher, Elton John, Black Eyed Peas, Ed Sheeran, Lizzo, Shawn Mendes, Jennifer Lopez, Coldplay, and other surprise guests. Join us for this once-in-a-generation moment to defend the planet and defeat poverty. Together, we can move the world one action at a time. Hear it all day this Saturday on Global Citizen Radio with the iHeartRadio app.
Way back when, Colombia was a vast dining desert, a wasteland for fast, fresh, authentic Southwestern food. Weren't nothing bundled up nice and warm in a tortilla. Colombia needed Diablos. Southwestern the way you want it, the real deal, with no shortcuts in quality and served up as fast and fresh as you want it. Diablo Southwest Grill. Sunset Boulevard in Lexington. DiabloSouthwestGrill.com.
Imagine a disease that can hurt any part of your body, like your joints, heart, kidneys. Your immune system becomes so hyperactive that it attacks instead of protects. That's lupus. You don't look sick, so no one knows you feel awful. You also may know someone who has it. Join us for Lupus Research Alliance's virtual Many One Can. Walk with us to cure lupus, October 2nd at noon. No one can cure it alone, but many one can. Visit walk.lupusresearch.org to register now.
Group training is a fun, accountable way to get in shape. I'm Coach Stewart of Dynamic Health and Fitness. Come train with one of our special groups today. We will focus on giving you the support you need to get in shape. We use the Dynamic Mob, featuring intervals of cardio, functional training, and strength training to change your lifestyle to make you healthy. Get started today at any of our locations in Lexington or West Columbia, or call 803-408-4060 or online at dynamichealthclub.com.
At Firehouse Subs, we make our subs differently because our subs can make a difference. And now it's never been easier to grab our subs to go for you or your whole crew. With Firehouse Subs Rapid Rescue to Go, you can save time when you order online at firehousesubs.com or on our app. And we'll have your subs boxed, bagged, and ready for pickup at our designated to-go areas. No lines, no waiting. Just more big, bold, craveable subs that help save lives. Firehouse Subs. Enjoy more subs. Save more lives.
Families affected by disasters urgently need support. Help the American Red Cross provide meals and shelter to those affected by disasters, big and small. Donate to Red Cross Disaster Relief. Go to redcross.org or call 1-800-RED-CROSS.
Melissa from Michigan. I work an extra part-time job serving lunch at my child's school, but I still can't afford to put food on our table.
Daniel from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Clemson Sports Talk with my dad, Lawton Swan, on Fox Sports Radio 1400 and on the iHeartRadio app.
The show that shakes the Southland, or as they said in the olden days, the show that shaketh the Southland. HD in Charlotte says, Swan, yeah, I agree with you. When you watch DJ, it is clear he lacks confidence. The question is why? Logically, you have to assume he doesn't have confidence in the guys up front. Until the offensive line improves, he will not get his confidence back. Again, that comes to us from HD in Charlotte. We'll get to some of your thoughts and more here on the program momentarily. But first, speaking of the offensive line, want to get out to some audio from Matt Bockhorst from yesterday afternoon. And he was asked, or actually this is from Monday afternoon, Bockhorst was asked about, being a little fiery in that ball game. Again, as Clemson was struggling on the offensive line with the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Here's what Matt Bockhorst had to say about his passion on the gridiron.
Well, I mean, it's an emotional game. I'm an emotional guy. I try to play the game the right way and play it with fire. And at the end of the day, everyone's got a job to do. And, you got to be held accountable when you don't do your job. If I don't do my job, I'm held accountable. And same goes for everyone else who's playing. So it is what it is. And whatever it takes to get that fire out of everybody, then that's what I'm going to do. And for me, it's kind of a burn the boats mentality. You know what? At this point, there's no going back. This is my last year, my last go around, and I'm going to do what I have to do to get it out of everybody. And it's not about making friends, it's about winning games.
There you go. It's not about making friends. It's about winning games. Again, Matt Bockhorst, one of the leaders on that offensive line. And, when you talk about attention to detail and fundamentals and things of that nature, this group hasn't been great. I mean, there are some plays that I've watched and rewatched where there's hardly a lineman getting a hat on a sole. There's two linemen just looking like a dancing bear out there trying to find somebody to block. It's not great. Fundamentals, attention to detail. Here's some of the stuff that Matt Bockhorst says that may be hurting this offensive line group at this point in the season.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a number of things you could point to. I think that there's also a lot of good things that happen. I think that this group, this offensive line, but this offense in general grew up a lot on Saturday because we weren't able to do what we wanted to do. And we had to go put our hand on the ground and win the game the old-fashioned way. And I know everyone's disappointed because it wasn't flashy or sexy or whatever everyone else wants it to be. But at the end of the day, we did what we had to do to win. And obviously Marcus Tate's in there as a true freshman. He's a young guy. He's got a lot to learn. He's going to be a very good player. And you know what? I'm not sure many other true freshmen could do what he's doing regardless of mistakes that he's making. So I'm going to take the guys that we have, and we're going to play the rest of the season and give it everything we have, and we're going to fix the things that need to be corrected. But other than that, I'm not too worried.
Matt Bockhorst, again, not throwing the bus at Marcus Tate, saying, look, yeah, he's making some mistakes. He's a freshman. He doesn't think a lot of freshmen could do what Marcus has done so far. 803-450-0086, 803-450-0086. He was also asked about when DJ ran the ball late in the game and kind of got fired up, was flexing, pumping up the crowd, and what he thought about seeing that out of the starting quarterback, and if he liked it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, whether or not DJ is a quiet guy, he's still a competitor, and we all are. And I know we didn't put up the points that we wanted to put up last weekend, but dudes are out there competing and giving it all they had for the guys around them. And at that point, that's all we need, and that's all we have. So, you know what? I was very happy to see DJ get into it and show that emotion because, like I said, football is an emotional game. And when you're being challenged on the sideline and being challenged in the locker room during the delay, you know what? You got to go out there and prove them wrong. And I think we responded well in the second half. There's a lot to clean up. I think that biggest thing is finishing drives. We left a lot of points out there. Obviously, 4th and 2, don't convert. Then DJ has the fumble there, and there's a lot of other things to be corrected as well. So we did put together drives, though. We had 3 drives over 12 plays and 6 drives over 8 plays, I believe. So it's not like we weren't moving the ball, but moving the ball doesn't really mean anything if you don't convert that into points.
So there you go. Matt Bockhorst again talking about this Clemson offense and the struggles that we saw not only this past Saturday, but really throughout the year up until this point. It's been such a it has been such a surprise because of how efficient this offense has been over the years. So that's the thing that I think is so difficult for people. Again, relativity, man. You're so used to putting up 45 points a game. It's tough when you're not getting 21. I mean, that's tough. 803-450-0086, 803-450-0086. Then Matt Bockhorst was also asked about, when do you say something? When do you try to get the guys fired up and ready to go for the next ball game?
I think that there's a time and place for everything. I think, obviously, during the game, bullets are flying. You don't really know truly what has gone on until you get the chance to watch the tape. And it's funny because a lot of people have opinions on things, but they don't really look at the tape. They just have an emotional reaction about what they perceive to be what happened during the play. But on Sunday, we take the chance to look at the tape, to correct the things that need to be corrected, and come back in here on Monday and evaluate that, and then we close the book and move forward. And I'll tell you, if you look at the tape, it's really not that bad. But I think everyone's got this preconceived notion that it's just the offense is falling apart, that Coach Elliott needs to go, and DJ isn't this and isn't that, and those things are wrong. And we know that here, and we just have to keep doing what we need to do and continuing to improve, and we'll be just fine.
There you go. Matt Bockhorst again defending his quarterback. One final thing, and we'll get you to your next commercial break. Actually, you know what? I'll push this one over because, again, this is the ride or die edition, and it sounds like, listening to Matt Bockhorst, that he's ready to roll with DJ Uiagalelei. And that was the thing, again, if you flash back, okay, before the Georgia Tech game and even before the SC State game, during that Georgia game, I said on the air, you listen to the podcast, you get it. You hang out with us on the show, go hit the subscribe button while you're here today over on YouTube. And if you're watching on Facebook, share it. Let's bring some more people in. I got text messages, multiple, plural form, during Clemson's opener against Georgia saying, do we not have a backup quarterback? And look, I'm telling you, I like Tyson Pumachan, but you don't want to see him have to be your guy right now. Believe me.
Radio advertising can connect your business with holiday shoppers wherever they go. Use iHeart Ad Builder to create an affordable custom radio ad right on your phone. Just click, listen, approve, then hear it on the radio. Create your customized ad today at iHeartAdBuilder.com.
It's time to get your home insanely clean. Listen, Zero Res cleans like no other. No harsh chemicals and no sticky, soapy residue is left behind. And right now, get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned for $119. Plus, when you mention this station, you'll get a hallway cleaned for free. Schedule online at ZeroResColumbia.com.
Fall is a season that's a little in the middle. It's sort of the best of 2 seasons. It's no longer a sweaty summer, but the winter chill is still around the corner. And that's the perfect time to feed and seed your lawn with Scott's Turf Builder. Even better than spring, because the soil is still warm, but the air is getting cool. So your lawn gets the most nutrients in the best combination of temperatures. Feed and seed now with Scott's Turf Builder and build the best lawn for every season. Scott's, it's good out here.
Hey guys, Lawton Swan here. I was hanging out in the backyard with my son Mason a couple of years ago, and he said, "Dad, you're the best father ever." When I asked him why, he said, "Because when I go outside to play, I don't get eaten up by the bugs anymore." Imagine that, me, a hero, when all I did was call my good buddy Trey Powell at Mosquito Joe. With their routine service plan, no more bugs and no more bites. Make yourself the family hero. Call Mosquito Joe today, 803-223-7916. That's 803-223-7916. Outside is fun again.
It's fall, y'all. Stay cool with this Wilson'sAir.com weather update.
A mix of clouds, sun, and scattered thunder showers this afternoon is how we say hello to fall 2021, but things improve tomorrow. For ABC Columbia Channel 25, I'm Tyler Ryan.
This report is sponsored by Northern Tool and Equipment. Looking for serious horsepower for your tough jobs? Get to Northern Tool. Monday through Saturday, they're now open at 7 a.m. to serve you better. Kickstart your workday with them and get more done. Northern Tool and Equipment. Quality tools for serious work.
You wanted to see me?
Yes, please, have a seat. So here's the thing. When this company brought you on, we took a chance on you. You didn't have that 4-year college degree we typically look for.
Right.
But we gave you a shot anyway. And since then, you've worked incredibly hard and given it your all.
Thanks.
You've been an important asset to the team, but I don't think you can be an intern here anymore. We want to hire you.
You're serious?
Absolutely.
Find your next great employee. Introduce yourself to the grads of life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
I won't let you down.
I know.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
Imagine if I told you that an earthquake was going to hit tomorrow right where you live. That it would be 6.5 in magnitude with aftershocks occurring twice 25 minutes apart. You'd no doubt talk with your loved ones, and you'd make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you an earthquake will happen tomorrow. But what if it does? Shouldn't you have a plan? Visit scemd.org and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by the South Carolina Emergency Management Division, FEMA, and the Ad Council.
You can help the Federation Center of the Blind continue its mission of opening more doors to blind South Carolinians. Please call 803-254-3777 or email nfbsc@sc.rr.com. Do it today. It's sports radio done only the way Fox can do it.
There's always something to talk about. There's always controversy. And
You're listening to Fox Sports Radio 1400.
The show that shakes the Southland, Clemson Sports Talk, Lawton Swan with you again a Wednesday afternoon. Jonathan Blau from the Charleston Post and Courier joins us in just a little bit. We'll get back to some Matt Bockhorst here momentarily. By the way, my sister says, I like Bockhorst. Yeah, good kid. Fun interview. Let's see. What do we got here? James says, last year's DJ, okay, this year's DJ, the freshman quarterback might come in and play. I don't know. I try to break. Sometimes it's amazing, right? Like we talk about how like messages can come through. Text can be tough to interpret. It works the same on the radio. You Tigers win, by the way, is in Germany at an Air Force base. Nice. Dean says, Swanee, DJ has no control or accuracy when he's throwing the football. Yeah, lots of just overhand, fast pitch. You know, he's a former baseball player. You kind of feel like you see a little bit of that from him. I'm definitely seeing him throw a lot off of the back leg, which would tend to make you sail the ball a little bit high because you got to get that plant foot, you know, going forward. You got to get that front foot stepping forward, and he's doing a lot of his back leg, which might be an indication that he's concerned about the offensive line as well. Okay, there's no doubt about that. As for Matt Bockhorst, here's what he said about the fact that DJ's having to take the boatload of the criticism. And again, this is a young quarterback. I think people forget that. I think it's even magnified because of the money that he gets from Dr. Pepper and Bojangles. I think that has magnified the disdain for these players immensely. Like, and look, I don't think people hate the person, but I think they hate the player, if that makes sense. They don't want that player in. And when that player is making a lot of money and he stink, oh, man, it goes sideways in a hurry. And I knew this would be a byproduct. It's one of the reasons that I said this is bad players. I know you like the idea of making money, and I'm sure that it's going to be great that you're going to make some incredible amount while you're in college. That is fantastic. But are you at 18 prepared for the criticism that comes along with it? Maybe they are. Maybe they'll adjust. But I worried about this from day one. Your boy Swanee, I worried about it. And DJ is taking the heat for it. From, oh, he ate too many Bo-Berry biscuits to how much soda has he been drinking, Swanee? He must be slurping down Dr. Peppers all day long. You can't imagine the text messages I got. Well, maybe you can. Maybe you send them. 803-450-0086. But here's what Matt Bockhorst said about DJ having to take the brunt of the criticism at this point in the season.
You know, first off, we're all human, DJ included, so that's the biggest thing, and nobody's immune from mistakes. But, you know, that kid comes in here and works as hard as anybody else, and his dedication and commitment and drive are unmatched. And And I know that they see maybe a missed throw, or I know that there's throws from Saturday that DJ wants back. But DJ's improving, and DJ is a proven leader, and we have faith in DJ. I'll ride with 5 until it's over. I don't care. And so, you know what? If he's not doing as well as I think he should, then so be it. But I know that myself and the other guys around him, we've got the confidence in the world in him.
Matt Bockhorst. I'll ride with 5 until it's over. Will you ride with 5 until it's over? I mean, that's a legit question for you, Tiger Nation. I mean, are you ready to pull the parachute and go to Tyson Pumachan for the rest of the season? Like, that's the other thing. And again, you're going, Swanee, man, now you're beating up Tyson Pumachan. Pumachan is not as good of a quarterback as DJ, but there are moments, and in that game last weekend, I thought, well, maybe if you put Tyson in, maybe it wakes DJ up a little bit. And I threw out the hypothesis that possibly DJ's a little bit rattled from practice too, going up against Brent Venables in that defense. And I can only imagine, and again, I don't know exactly the difference in the tempo and the pace of play at practice versus a game, but I can only imagine being DJ Uiagalelei at practice, going up against Brent Venables, maybe getting dominated a little bit by the defensive coordinator, and then having to roll in to a game and have this level of concern about windows that you could throw the ball through, like all the things. Like you could say, well, that should make him better, right? Because he's not going to see a defense that good on Saturday. And we talk about that a lot with like the offensive line and things of that nature. And I would be interested to see what this defense does against this offensive practice. It's got to be just kids hide your eyes, right? But for DJ, I mean, if you get rattled, like I think about like Rick Ankiel, the pitcher, who got to the point where he could not throw a strike. Matter of fact, not only could he not throw a strike, he couldn't even throw the ball across the plate. He's throwing the ball in the stands. And I can't imagine what it would be like to go up against that defense all day at practice. And if that starts to rattle you and you get worried and worked up there, what happens when it's a game? Like, how do you adjust back? I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. 803-450-0086, 803-450-0086. Luke says DJ's coach was his mentor forever. He now looks like a deer in the headlights. No proper guidance. And that's funny too, though, Luke, because somebody else said that yesterday, and people want to throw that off on Tony Elliott, but the offensive coordinator or the quarterback's coach is Brandon Streeter. And then you've also got this whole new criticism around Clemson. Speaking of Brandon Streeter and Tony Elliott, Clemson graduates, there's this other criticism going on from Clemson Tiger Nation about this program and Dabo Swinney. I mean, this is incredible given the run that they've been on, right? And maybe it is the vocal minority that we're hearing from. But after the Lynn J. Dixon situation and Lynn J. deciding to leave, here comes that same conversation. I'll tell you what it is next.
Lawton Swan here. And I know in sports, we're always talking about the big guy. Well, let me tell you, when you're buying a car, you don't need that. What you need to do is head down to Orangeburg to my good friends at Ferry Chevrolet Cadillac. 4 generations of family-owned business right there at Ferry Chevrolet. No dock fees, no tricks, straightforward pricing in a low-pressure environment you'll love. Check them out online, ferrychevrolet.com, or call them 803-536-1600. It's Ferry Chevrolet Cadillac, just a short 30-minute drive off of exit 145A in Orangeburg.
The world is upside down and millions of Americans are out of work. Debt keeps rising, and yet taxes and interest rates are at historically low levels. What's going to happen next? Oh, I don't know. Space monkeys could arrive. Times like these, it is important to do your homework and be prepared, especially if you're near retirement. Hi, it's Glenn Beck. This is not the time to go it alone and hope for the best. I want you to call Pat Struby today and find out what he can do for you right now. Do what other families just like yours have done for over 20 years. Call the team at Preservation Specialist. Call 803-9-RETIRE and schedule a complimentary phone or video consultation. Pat Struby and his team at Preservation Specialist are local and independent. Their focus is you and your retirement. So call 803-9-RETIRE. Schedule a complimentary consultation and be prepared for your retirement years. 803-9-RETIRE.
Glenbeck has been remunerated and is not a client. Investment advisory services offered through Kalos Capital Inc. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
Hi, it's Gary David. Are you ready to take a shot at finding a new career? FN America, a growing world-class design and manufacturer of the world's most innovative and quality firearms, is looking for you. At FN, you'll be part of a passionate team that takes pride in knowing they're doing their part to save lives and protect our freedom. FN offers outstanding benefits, including an on-site health and wellness center, excellent health plans, profit sharing, and 401k plan for all employees. So start carrying your future today and explore career opportunities at fnamerica.com/careers.
Panera believes in saying yes. Yes to clean, fresh ingredients. Yes to the new chicken sausage and pepperoni flatbread topped with rich mozzarella. Yes to delicious mac and cheese. Yes to putting it on a sandwich, creating the grilled mac and cheese sandwich. And yes to impromptu road trips to Sandwich, Illinois. Because that's living life to the flavor fullest. Get $1 delivery when you order on our app. Panera. Live your yes. Pricing and product availability may vary. Visit PaneraBread.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. Dashboard light problems? We can help. Our free Fix Finder service can read your check engine light, ABS light, and service indicator light, and give you possible solutions, verified by licensed technicians. You'll even get detailed results sent straight to your email so you have them when you need it most. It's the most complete free warning light report backed by technician-verified fixes. The free Fix Finder service, only at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
More details at AutoZone.com.
I'm Aditi Kinkabwala.
And I'm Mike Yam.
We love football so much, we figured let's start a podcast and call it NFL Explained, where we just answer all the crazy questions we get about football all the time.
Like how the Buffalo Bills got their name, or who even came up with the Sky Camp, because that is actually a really cool idea.
Answers to questions like that and more every Thursday. Come join us for the NFL Explained podcast.
You can listen to NFL Explained on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
For 60 years now, the Federation Center of the Blind has been making a difference in the lives of visually impaired South Carolinians through its innovative services. You can help them continue their important work by calling 803-254-3777 or emailing nfbsc@sc.rr.com.
Fox Sports Radio 1400. Online at foxsportsradio1400.com. On your phone with the iHeartRadio app and on hundreds of devices like Alexa, Google Home, Xbox, and Sonos. An iHeartRadio station.
Sports Talk, the show that shakes the Southland. All right, I'm not telling you you're wrong if this is your hunch or this is the thing you believe. I'm not even going to try to make the argument that you're wrong. But you know the old phrase, the Clemson man needs no introduction. Well, it's funny because now with Clemson having some issues, people looking at Tony Elliott, Clemson graduate. People looking at Brandon Streeter, Clemson graduate. Spiller now given an opportunity to coach running backs, Clemson graduate. And people, again, who would shout out at the top of their lungs about how proud they are to be Clemson people, how proud they are to be fans of the Tigers, will say, man, I can't believe Dabo Swinney's just giving jobs to Clemson graduates. That's why we're not good, because Dabo Swinney's not hiring people from outside. He's not looking outside the Clemson family. He's giving opportunities to a guy like CJ Spiller when there are more qualified running back coaches out there. I can't deny that maybe there are more qualified, running back coaches out there, certainly people out there with better resumes than CJ Spiller. But isn't it naive, given the fact that CJ Spiller is now in the College Football Hall of Fame, given the fact that this was one of the best running backs in Clemson history, given the fact that this was a 5-star kid, given the fact that it's a guy that was homesick and thought about leaving, given the fact that he ends up sticking around for Dabo Swinney's final season, given the fact that he was really the first big commit for Dabo Swinney and the game-changing back that many of you believe sort of brought Clemson towards where they are today, was at least, wherever he ranks for you in the pantheon of Clemson sports, his footprints are there somewhere. And yet, criticism after a kid in Lynn J. Dixon, for whatever reason, can't get on the same page. Like, now, it would be one thing, because we could go through the laundry list of former Clemson running backs and guys who have had their off-the-field issues, whether they've been under Danny Ford, whether they've been under Tommy West, Tommy Bowden, Dabo Swinney, however far back you want to go. You want to pull the arrest record, you could do it. There's plenty of them that have been out there. Thankfully, they are fewer and further between than they once were. And you can probably go out there and find a guy that's more decorated than CJ Spiller as well. There are both sides of this coin. But I don't know that you could find a better person to put in that spot who understands what it means to be a Clemson man, who understands what it means to give your all to the university. Like, is that not what you want? I mean, for me, that's, as a Clemson graduate, that's what I would want. I would want somebody who, when they spoke to the players in that room, they spoke from the experience. CJ Spiller shared the backfield with James Davis. That was the way it was. And neither of those guys had to, quote, love it, but they were better for it. They were thunder and lightning. If CJ Spiller and Lynn J. Dixon couldn't see eye to eye, or whatever happened and Lynn J. decided to leave, like, to me, that's less on Spiller and more on Lynn J. At some point, Dabo Swinney said it, you do have to grow up. And when you're a senior in that locker room, I don't care how long you've been waiting, quite frankly. Nobody had a problem. Not many of you at least had a problem. Like, I didn't hear a whole lot of people calling me up going, man, you know what, Swanee? Kelly Bryant, can't believe they gave Trevor Lawrence a starting job. Kelly Bryant was the incumbent. Kelly Bryant led you to the college football playoff. Kelly Bryant. No. You all were going, man, we got to get Trevor Lawrence. We got to get Trevor Lawrence in the game. Trevor Lawrence is the guy. Look at the way he performs. And sure, could you give me that, well, we don't really know a whole lot about, Will Shipley, and he got these opportunities at Lynn J. Dixon. Well, Lynn J. put himself in the doghouse, ironically, before Clemson faced the Dogs. Not during the game, before the game. That's Shipley's fault? Is that Kobe Pace's fault? That's CJ Spiller's fault? If discipline is not one of your principles, what are you, Florida under Urban Meyer? What are you, Georgia most off seasons? (803-450-0086). All right, new guest coming up on the show. Jonathan Blau from the Charleston Post and Courier in hour number 2. Bible Belt Beauty says, stop looking at me, Swan. Thank you. I got to get the soundboard. James says, if DJ doesn't get turned around, Cade Klubnik's coming in next year. But, and that's the thing, competition, man. Competition breeds success, doesn't it? You think the boys at Coca-Cola, once Pepsi came around, just started lounging out and doing nothing? Keep working. Kellogg's and Post, That's an interesting story. Go, not today, but when you get a minute, go watch The Foods That Made Us. Oh, classic. All right. We'll hit a quick break. We'll come back with more of the show that shakes the Southland. Hour number 2. Again, this feed where many of you are watching right now will drop for about 3.5, 4 minutes, and it'll be back up. Those of you listening, man, you won't know a difference. You won't know a single difference. Again, we hit a quick break. We'll come back. Jonathan Blau from the Post and Courier joins us, making his debut appearance on the show that shakes the Southland.
Clemson Sports Talk with Lawton Swan on Columbia's home for sports. Fox Sports Radio 1400. Now, Columbia's most dependable traffic, sponsored by Pope Davis Tire and Automotive, home of the best tire prices in Columbia, guaranteed. Fox Sports Radio 1400 traffic.
Look out for a wreck on Dutch Fork at Rock Metz. Also an accident, hard scrabble at Clemson. The 103.5 FM WVOC traffic tip line is open for you at 343-1055.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. Hitting speed bumps in your hiring process? Streamline your route to hired with Indeed. Their hiring platform makes it easy to attract, screen, and interview candidates